Welcome back to Clinician Voice podcast, where we elevate frontline stories, share bold ideas, and ignite change across the healthcare landscape. As a special honor for Nurses Week, we welcome Dr. Sheldon Fields, an accomplished nurse executive, educator, researcher, and the current president of the National Black Nurses Association. He is also the Associate Dean for Equity and Inclusion and Research Professor for Penn State University. Dr. Fields joins us to celebrate the extraordinary contributions of nurses and the NBNA's continued efforts to advance equity, protect the profession, and shape the future of nursing. From policy to mentorship, his leadership is inspiring real transformation. And I'm delighted to welcome to the podcast, Dr. Fields. Dr. Fields.
Absolutely, my pleasure, Dr. Geiger. Thank you for this immense opportunity, and happy Nurses Week, everyone.
Thank you so much, and happy Nurses Week. I wanted to share a couple of facts, and hopefully I won't do the Shields Fields thing because I know a Dr. Shields as well, so this is going to be tricky. But some really important facts that I want to share about NBNA is that it's not just for nurses of color.
No.
You support thousands of nurses across the country and lead advocacy. You're elevating inclusion, not exclusion. And I'm happy to peel that layer of truth and talk with you today. So
No. Mhm.
go right ahead. I'm sorry.
No, absolutely. Ever since our founding back in the early 70s, under the extraordinary leadership of Dr. Lorianne Sams and a phenomenal, innovative, groundbreaking group of women, the National Black Nurses Association has been mission focused. And it really is about elevating the voices of Black nurses and students and those communities of color, those communities historically underserved, and really where we live, learn, die, work, and play. And I am very clear, we're very clear, that everyone is welcome in the confines of NBNA in any of our 115 chapters in 34 states, including the District of Columbia. That is how spread out we are. But if you are somebody who resonates with the mission of NBNA, irrespective or irregardless of how you personally identify along a racial ethnic line, you are most welcome in NBNA.
Absolutely. And I'm a proud member. So yeah, definitely think about joining if you're not already a part.
Yes.
So as we celebrate, we're going to get right into it because, we're happy to celebrate Nurses Week with you, Dr. Fields. And, nurses are the heart of healthcare. We know that. But I'd love to know what this week means to you, this month for that matter. It's Nurses Month. What does this mean to you personally and as a president of NBNA?
So I have been a nurse this year for 34 years. And I know people don't look at me as not what they see because, men and men of color in the profession are a very small number. But I have always ever wanted to be a nurse. Um, Following in the footsteps of my aunt, my mother's oldest sister, who was a phenomenal influence and major reason why I actually became a nurse. So when we get to this type of celebration where we can shine a light on the collective work that nurses do in our healthcare workforce, we are the largest segment of the healthcare workforce, and we are that driving beat. And we do not stop and often, pat ourselves on the back or take credit.
Right.
It's just not what we do. But there is so much phenomenal work being done in and around the nursing profession that this is an opportunity to share some of that, elevate our colleagues, celebrate each other, indulge or involve ourselves in a little bit of self-care, and really get the message out about what a great profession we are, and hopefully encourage others to come join us in a journey with a professional nursing career. So that is what it really means to me. And as the president
Absolutely.
of the National Black Nursing Association during this current time, in which we are dealing with some things in our nation that are
Mm-hmm.
really not being very supportive of us. And I
Right.
know we're going to talk about that a little bit more, but it is even more important that associations like ours that have a very specific mission to support and encourage diversity, equity, and inclusion, because we're going to keep saying the words because it's part of our mission, and we
Right.
can't change who we are, and we never will.
Mm-hmm.
That we surround our colleagues that are on the front lines doing this work, and that we let them know that we support them, we see them, and we're going to keep moving forward no matter what the socio-political climate of this nation currently is.
All right. Well, and you said just so much to break down and resonate. And we're going to get into it a little bit. I like it because it's transparent. We're coming at you raw. We're just going to give you the information, and I love that. So thanks for being here and just being all honest too, because I think the listeners and the audience, they deserve to hear that support, and they deserve to hear the challenges. So we're going to get into that. I'd love to know, and you unpacked a little bit of it, but I'd love to know how the National Black Nurses Association is honoring nurses during Nurses Week and beyond
So,
that. I mean, you do a lot.
absolutely.
Yeah.
So this week in particular, we are highlighting, spotlighting some of our national leaders. We are using our social media platforms to elevate the presence of the week and the month. There
Mhm.
have been specific events planned, mainly through working with our membership committee. And we're really focusing on supporting our chapters, because while we are a national organization, the work of NBNA gets done at the local level in
Okay.
those, 100+ communities where we have a footprint, where we have people that are literally on the ground doing the work that needs to be done in their communities, which makes the work slightly unique and different in every
Right.
location that we are. So we provide that type of platform, our messaging, the imagery that's going out this week, that is, everyone's welcome in a profession, and that this is a week to celebrate those of us who are working hard at all levels of the profession. So that's what we're doing. We do some of this work in collaboration or coalition with, our colleagues in the National Coalition of Ethnic Minority Nursing Associations, which is a group that is representative of historically 5 major racial ethnic minority nursing associations. So it is us, as the Black Nursing Association. It is our great colleagues in the National Association of Hispanic Nurses. It is our colleagues in the Philippine Nursing Association of America, the Asian Pacific Islander Association, and the Native American, Native Alaskan group
Mm.
as well. So we elevate and we support each other, and together we represent the voices of 1 million ethnic minority nurses in this
Wow.
country.
Wow. And you've gone ahead of me a little bit. I was thinking about just the way that you push legacy forward through
Mhm.
advocacy. So I want to touch on that just a bit. So, I know that NBNA, I know because I'm a member of the local Greater Gainesville chapter.
Yes.
But I want to know, just how are you continuing to push through with this current climate
Yeah.
to elevate nurses and bring them together?
Yeah. So one of our signature programs in NBNA, started by one of our former presidents, Dr. C. Alicia Georges, actually started the Black Nurses Day on Capitol Hill. And for 37 years, on the first Thursday in February, to coincide with the beginning of Black History Month, and it is still Black History Month, I don't care what he said,
There you go.
NBNA has used that opportunity to gather all of our constituents and our supporters as we bring forth our legislative agenda to the members of Congress. And we did that this past February. And right before we went, I got a call from one of the news outlet folks that was like, Dr. Fields, we know that you guys do this annual Black Nurses Day on Capitol Hill, but this year things are different in DC. And is NBNA still coming? Are y'all still holding your
Oh,
event? Are you all afraid? And
oh,
let me tell you, my answer to them was, this day has been congressionally given to us. And
mhm.
yes, we are coming. We came in full force. We had over
Right.
600 nurses from across the country that were there. And we
Mhm,
brought forth our legislative agenda, which included
mhm.
things like, our continued advocacy around the issue of Black maternal health, climate
Oh,
change,
yes,
the nursing
yes.
workforce. And
Mhm.
we will unapologetically continue to advocate for those that do not have the voices and the trust that we do. So we are here to stay with our advocacy. And even
Right.
now, it was more important given, like I said, the socio-political environment that we're in with all of the
Mhm.
anti-DEI and, really anti-healthcare stuff that's going on. That news outlet even asked me, he says, well, are you all concerned? Are you all going to change your name? Because, you guys are so
Oh,
identified as a Black
right.
group. And I'm going to tell
Mm.
you what I told them.
Okay. I'm
We
listening.
are and we will forever be unapologetically Black. So,
Mm,
no, we will not change our name. Our name
yeah.
is our legacy, and it is
Mm.
purposeful, it is intentional.
Wow. So that's exactly what I'm talking about. Just ripping off the layers and talking about it. And, I think, and I'm trying to allow you this platform and not to dive into it myself, but I think that there's even more that's that's being done at the local levels in your chapters, the national level as well. Some key initiatives and programs, and I'm going to ask you about that as well, that you're most proud of that NBNA has launched, including the fellowship. I want you to touch on that. And this, it's expanding leadership as well for nurses of color. And so I'd love to hear more about just the way that you're forging on and some of your new programs that you've launched.
So we've been very fortunate in NBNA that we have garnered some phenomenal support. You know, Johnson and Johnson has supported us with a nursing leadership academy that we have been involved in for the last couple of years, training and giving support to the next generation of nursing clinical leaders. And that program, which has an annual, outreach, and we have their cohorted groups, is going strong. And they were actually part of the group that joined us in February for Advocacy Day, because we have
Okay.
those that are in the fellowship that year come as part of their experience.
Okay.
We have other signature programs. If you think about it, we have an obligation to
Mhm.
continue to advocate for diversifying the nursing profession. It is still majority white, it's still majority women. Well, that's not what our nation looks like.
Right.
So to that extent, under the guise of, again, one of our former president, Dr. Martha Dawson, we
Mhm.
have continued to uplift and spearhead our nursing mini academy. And that is a program whereby our local chapters will partner with a local elementary school. And we're focusing in on those third, fourth, fifth graders. And we go in with a program to teach them about nursing. Because if you think
I
about
love
it,
it.
if you ask a kid at that age, hey, what do you want to be when you grow up? They'll
Oh,
say,
absolutely.
I want to be a fireman. I want to be, a
Mhm.
policeman or something. No third grader goes, I want to be a nurse. So
Right.
we have got to get to them early and plant that seed about who we
Mhm.
are and what we do as nurses. So
Mhm.
that's one of the programs that we're really proud of as well. But we do a lot of committee work. And under my particular presidency, we stood up some very focused initiatives. We stood up a oral health task force because
Okay.
the issues related to oral health have gone completely
Yes.
neglected. And we have got to do a better job. And I'm eternally grateful for my colleague, Dr. Audrey Miller, a professor down at FIU and a member
Mhm.
of our Miami chapter who leads that task force for us. As I
Mhm.
said, we have been very focused on our advocacy around Black maternal health because the death rates of Black women in childbirth are egregious. So we have been very intentional, and Dr. Camilla Barnes has been helping us with that, as well as our other colleagues in midwifery who have been really incredibly helpful. But we've got to be unapologetic about the
Right.
work of that particular initiative.
Mhm.
And our military health task force has
Mhm.
been looking at what we can do to support our military nurses and their healthcare needs. We have a
Mm.
group that is really working on what comes next with
Mhm.
artificial intelligence and health equity. Um,
Okay.
and so we got to look towards the future as well.
Right. Yeah.
And lastly, we've done some really exciting things over the last couple of years. NBNA stood up its first capital campaign. We called it the 1971 Project, owing to the
Mm.
year in which NBNA was founded.
Found it. Yeah.
And so we're raising funds to support the future of the organization and the association.
Mm.
And if you go to nbna.org, you can see all that information and you can still
I
make a
love it.
donation.
Mhm.
We would very much appreciate that. And, if you've looked at our social media, you would have noticed that we introduced a brand new, really innovative, interactive website for the association. So again,
Mhm. I
simply go
saw
to
that.
nbna.org, you'll see it.
Yeah.
Uh, uh,
Mhm.
we have stood up an expanded national office headquartered in Silver Spring, Maryland. And
Mhm.
the expansion came in the form of being able to add a museum and archival space to it,
I was there for that. It's
where we
awesome.
are displaying the
Mhm.
NBNA legacy. Um,
Mhm.
it is a great initiative, and any NBNA member, actually anyone, you're welcome to come visit us in our national office. Let us know that you're coming, and we'll be happy to arrange a tour for you and show you our wonderful museum. Um, we are working on a documentary to really document the history of the founding of our association, to
Mhm.
tell our story. And that's one of the things that we're seeking to get additional
Wow.
resources and funds to do that right, because we have to do it right. Um,
Mhm.
and again, I often say to people, NBNA is dynamic. And if there's something that interests our members, uh,
Right.
we're always open to conversations about new initiatives, ideas. People bring their talents to MBNA. I tell people all the time, give us what you feel you can give, take what you
All
feel you
right.
need. Of course, there's our mentoring programs that we do at all
Mhm.
levels. There's our
Mhm.
scholarship programs. Last year at conference, we gave away close to $300,000 in scholarships at all levels. We will do the same at our upcoming conference this summer,
Mhm.
August 5th through the 10th in the city of Dallas.
Wonderful. I was going to ask you that. So you can't stop there now. You're going to have to keep going it's coming up, the
Yes.
NBNA annual conference. It's on the horizon. What you could, if you could lead into would be, why is this year's theme especially meaningful? What can we expect at this conference this year?
So, we have got to maintain our
Mm-hmm.
focus on moving forward with the
Mm-hmm.
issues around diversity, equity, and inclusion related to all the various aspects of what we do in education, clinical practice, research.
Mm-hmm.
So that is always going to be our focus. And the conference in Dallas will underscore all of those various things. And it is a almost a full week. The conference at a glance literally just went out and it's on our website. You can actually see all of the proposed events that are coming up. Again, it's going to be August 5th through August 10th. And we will be at the Anatole hotel in Dallas, Texas.
That's awesome. Looking forward to that. And I know we'll see more about that on social media coming up.
Yes.
And I know you've spoken about this already. You've long been a champion for diversity, equity in nursing, including with your role in academia. Um,
Mhm.
how can other institutions and leaders just better support nurses in clinical and leadership spaces? Just just get adjust to this climate and to be comfortable in their own space.
Yeah. You know,
Mhm.
I often say to folks, nursing has a moral and ethical obligation to
Mhm.
make sure that we are training a nursing workforce that is representative and prepared to take care of at the highest level everyone in our society. As nurses, we don't get to choose our patients. That's not how we work.
Mhm.
It goes against our very code of ethics, which was updated this year. Our
Right.
code of ethics for nursing is updated every 10 years. And
Mhm.
there's a new version out for 2025. The old version never mentioned racism. The new code of ethics mentions it 17 times. So,
Yes.
and if you look at provisions 1, provision 8, and 9, it tells us exactly what we need to do to treat each patient with a level of humanity and compassion. And you
Yes.
cannot do that if you ignore people's unique characteristics and their cultural beliefs and understandings. It tells us that we are called to uplift the diversity and to celebrate the diversity of all. So if you are truly practicing according to what our code tells us we should, then you cannot at this time abandon the ideas of justice, equity, diversity, and inclusion, because we have to add the justice piece as well. So
Mhm.
nursing is
Yes.
leaning in at a time when a lot of people are retreating because
Mhm.
DEI has become the boogeyman, or some
Oh, yeah.
term that we
Mhm.
cannot say. And that is
Mhm.
just simply not the case in the nursing profession, and is definitely not the case in the National Black Nurses Association. That is, we will not do that.
No, I love that you touched on that because I was just speaking as keynote at a leadership conference in Dallas, actually, 2 weeks
Hmm.
ago.
Hmm.
And it was on that very same thing on culture defines us as nurses. And if you can't avoid embracing culture and equity without abandoning your code and nursing ethics and standards of practice. So, oh, I'd love to hear
Yeah.
more about that coming
Yeah.
up with you. Hopefully, you're going to speak more about that at the conference coming up in
We
August.
will. We
Hmm.
will. And specifically, I want to make sure I had to make sure I always get the words right.
Okay.
The theme has to do with strengthening communities at the intersection of equity, research, policy, and nursing practice. Again, exactly what I was talking about.
Absolutely.
And
Yeah.
it will feature like half day sort of institutional workshops from like our maternal health task force. Again, that'd be Dr. Camilla Barnes working
Mhm.
with Dr. Lucinda Canty. That's our other phenomenal colleague, midwife that is helping us to do this
Wonderful.
work. Um,
Mhm.
and everywhere we go, we are very aware that we need to give back to the communities in which host our annual conferences. So,
Mhm.
there'll be an annual blood drive where we leave donations for the
Okay.
community in the life-giving gift of blood,
Mhm.
which we always do. We are going to be putting together one of our subcommittees is putting together care packets because in that particular community there's a large number
Oh,
of
wow.
unhoused veterans. So we're going
Mhm.
to be making a special effort during our conference to support them.
Oh, it's
And
wonderful.
that's just simply who we are as NBNA. And if you've never been to an NBNA conference, I really want to encourage you
You
all
have to
to
go.
join us. Yes, we come to learn and share knowledge, but at the end of the day, we also come to celebrate and we have a
Mhm.
lot of fun with each
Yeah.
other. The highlight of the conference always culminates in the Saturday evening presidential fundraising gala.
Mhm.
This year, our theme is urban cowboy glam. So
Okay.
we are going to be putting
All
our
right
boots
now.
on the ground
Okay.
in a celebratory event that highlights the NBNA Presidential Awards, our
Okay.
Lifetime Achievement Award winners, our NBNA Trailblazers, and
Mhm.
our NBNA Founders Spirit Award.
Lovely. Okay. Okay. There's a lot to look forward to. Yes, absolutely. Someone asked me when I about the conference when I attended, and I was like, it's like one big family reunion. You have aunties that you've never met, and
Yes,
and
yes.
people are
And
walking up and hugging you, and
well, it's also a family
wonderful.
event. The
Yes.
hotel we're going to be at, and a lot of people do bring their kids, and you're welcome to bring your kids. We run a youth institute during our conference as well, so we have something for the kids. But the hotel, the property that we're going to this year, has a huge water park attached to it.
Oh,
So
wonderful.
it's going to be a lot of fun.
It sounds like it. That's perfect. Wonderful to look to. I'm glad you included all the details because they'll want to unpack this, and you'll have lots of listeners who'll be able to understand and motivate them to join in on the fun and the research and the advocacy and all the things. So
Yes.
that's great. Thank you so much for sharing that. And I know we're getting close to time. It's I could talk to you all day because I love your honesty and your rawness. Um,
Thank
but I'd love to know about, we have to touch on well-being and career
Yes,
growth for
yes.
nurses across the country before we get your sign off. I'd love to know what you're doing at NBNA and then just, what your
Yeah.
personal opinion is
Yeah.
on that area of growth.
So we are one of the professional associations that we allow student members to join. You can become a member of NBNA as a student, and we have a student representative on our board who is a full board member with a full vote. So we are really about training up and reaching out and securing the next generation of nurses. And again, um, throughout every single one of our chapters, they also hold, a lot of them hold an annual sort of scholarship or awards event at the local level. So we give out scholarships at the national level, but we also do it at the local level throughout the year.
Right.
Uh, and a lot of that is focused on supporting the educational journey of all nurses, students in every single type of nursing program,
Mhm.
two-year programs, diploma programs, graduate programs, PhD programs,
Mhm.
our LPN colleagues and LVN colleagues,
Mhm.
because we're very inclusive of that group as well. And again, we're one of the only nursing groups that also intentionally embraces our LPN, LVN colleagues.
Yes.
And again, we need everybody. And,
Mhm.
you know, we offer a mentoring program. Everybody should have a mentor. I still have a mentor, even early on
Absolutely.
in my career. So
Mhm.
wherever you're at, there is something for you. But one of the things that we do in NBNA is if you come to us and you stick around us and you are like, maybe this is like your first year in nursing, maybe you just got your associate's degree or your bachelor's degree, I'm telling you, you cannot stay around us and not elevate. So
Absolutely.
you will be talked about, you will be encouraged to
Mhm.
step it up to whatever that next not only degree level is, but what is that
Mhm.
next level in your career? And then we will
Right.
support you emotionally, physically, financially. That's what we do. Because as a percentage, nurses of color, typically Black nurses, have higher levels of education at the graduate level than do our
Right.
white colleagues.
Mhm.
They don't
Mhm.
they don't always tell you that, but we do.
Yeah. I was talking to someone else about that because they were looking at, they called it alphabet soup, you know, how they do that behind
Absolutely.
your credentials. And I'm like, I have to have those. Those are necessary for me. Yes. And
Yes,
I'm
yes.
comfortable with my credentials and we want them
We
to be correct and we want you to get them right and be
we
accurate about
people,
them.
yeah, I often get that as well. I tell people all the time, this is
Mhm.
nursing. You got to be
Oh,
licensed, degreed,
yep.
certified, and fellowshipped.
Skilled
and
up.
and
Yes.
and
Yes.
I will go give a presentation. I'll send my bio and stuff. And I've had more than once, like a planner
Hmm.
would call me and go,
Oh,
Dr.
yeah.
Fields, we're preparing the materials to send out. We're preparing like a
Mhm.
flyer. We just want to know, can we like shorten your credentials? I'm like, absolutely not.
There you
I'll
go.
change the font size, but every single thing is earned
Hmm.
and purposeful.
Yes. And necessary and needed.
Yes,
Okay. And
yes.
and it wasn't given in any way. Earned is it the key
Earned.
word. Earned.
Earned.
I love it so much. I have to tell you, it has been a pleasure speaking with you. And I hope everyone has a wonderful Nurses Week. But before we let you go,
Yes.
one more question. I'd love to know, as we reflect on, both challenges and achievements, right,
Mhm.
in our profession, what gives you hope for the future of nursing?
I think that's a great question.
Mm.
And it has to do with why I maintain my role for as long as I have in academia. I'm the associate dean, the inaugural associate dean for equity and inclusion in the Ross and Carol Nese College of Nursing here at Penn State University. That's what I call my mortgage paying job.
There you go.
Being president of NBNA is my volunteer job, but I do have a
Mm.
mortgage paying job.
Mhm.
And my hope, honestly, Dr. Geiger, is the influence and the opportunity that I have to work directly with students. I support in our college students
Mhm.
that are in equity scholarship programs. And these are students that are mainly from historically underrepresented populations, mainly students of color.
Mhm.
And, graduation is this coming week. And so we're in celebration mode. Um, and to see them when they come in as first year students to now see them as graduating seniors, there is nothing else that gives me more hope because they have done it. They have uh, uh,
Mhm.
overcome every single challenge.
Mhm.
And I don't care where you go to nursing school, it is a challenge. But
Always.
particularly if you're a student of color trying to get
Right.
through a predominantly white institution that, in some ways does not support you, it makes it a little bit more difficult. So that
Right.
is my hope. Um, it is our students. It is, and I get to do it not only in, like I say, my professional role, but I also get
Mhm.
to do it through our wonderful association and supporting the students that we have in NBNA.
And there you have it. Um, a wonderful sign off by Dr. Fields, president of NBNA. We just adore you. Thank you so much for joining us for the podcast.
Thank you absolutely for the incredible opportunity. And again, everybody, please enjoy and find some way to celebrate you and your colleagues as we acknowledge National Nurses Week and National Nurses Month.
Wonderful. Thank you so much. And to our listeners, we hope you'll join us on our next episode of Clinician Voice.